swastika that took up his entire neck and then came up onto his face. And the other one had "fuck you" tattooed on his eyelids.
Oh, yeah. That check. I mean, that's, yeah.
And so I jump up. I go, "What do you want?" Because I thought, you know, if I'm going down, I'm taking one of them down with me at least. "What do you want?" And the one with the swastika, he says, "You the new guy?" I go, "Yeah, so?"
This sounds like a story from like the 1940s,
Isn't
John.
it awful?
It was sound real,
I said
bro.
in my second book, prison is a combination of 7th grade, The Lord of the Flies, and a mental institution.
Amen.
And it's set in the 1950s.
That's hilarious.
So I go, "What do you want?" He goes, "You the new guy?" I said, "Yeah, so?" And he goes, I'm standing there like this. He goes, "You a f***?" And I go, "No, I'm not a f***." He says,
And they were bummed out?
"You a rat?" No gays allowed. "You a rat?" I said, "No, I'm not a rat." "You a chomo?" I go, "I don't know what that word means." He goes, "Chomo, child molester." I said, "No, I'm not a child molester."
That's good.
And then he says, "You can sit with the Aryans in the cafeteria." And I was like, "Oh, well, I guess I'm with the Aryans now." But then a couple of months later,
Simple rules.
I was across the hall from a captain in the Bonanno family. And he said to me one day, he goes, "Let me ask you a question. Why do you sit with those Nazi retards every day?" And I said, I don't know. I said, "My first day here, they just told me to sit with them." And he goes, "From today, you are with the Italians." I said, "It's about time."
That was it, yeah.
Took you long enough.
You got drafted.
Yeah. But they were the best.
Yeah, but a lot of
best.
good stories, dude. Any good story come to mind from somebody like a good story you heard in prison?
Yeah, there's one. You're going to think less of me, and I don't care.
That's fine. I could tell you some stuff. That would probably make it even.
There was a guy in my housing unit who was a serial killer. He was called Truck because he drove long distance trucks from the East Coast to the West Coast. And he would pick up prostitutes at truck stops, and he would rape them and murder them, drive them a couple of 100 miles down the highway, and then dump the bodies out. So the cops estimated that he killed 14. It was probably more than that. But he strangled one and she survived. And she was able to give the cops the license number. Now, this was in the days before DNA testing. So this guy...
Before DNA testing?
Yeah, this was in the 70s.
Oh, he'd been in for a long time.
He was doing life.
Got it.
So for reasons that were never clear to me, this guy constantly sought my approval. He was full of shit. He would come up, he had the worst breath because he had just these blackened, rotten nubs where that used to be his teeth. And he was saying,
that makes my fucking dick soft, dude.
It was awful, awful. He goes, "You CIA?" And I said, "Yeah, I used to be." He goes, "I did work for the CIA. I ran a shrimp boat full of weapons to Angola." I go, "Get the fuck out of here." I didn't know he was a serial killer. I go, "Get the fuck out of here. Shrimp boat to Angola. Have you ever been on a shrimp boat?" And I walked away. People are looking at me like, "Are you crazy? Do you know who that is?" Well, I didn't know who it was. So instead of making him mad, it just made him more actively seek my approval. So I'm a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Oh, yeah.
And he would say, "Hey, John, the Steelers are the featured game of the week. I saved you a seat in the TV room." I'm like, "Oh, thanks, Truck." I'm like, "Okay. John, I know you listen to classic rock. There's a new classic rock station, 1600 AM. You should check it out." I'm like, "Okay, thanks, Truck." In the meantime, there's this guy we called Cat in the Hat because he had this oddly elongated head, like a birth defect, kind of giant Cat in the Hat head. And he comes up to me one day and he said, "Hey, I heard you had an empty bunk in your cell. I want to move into your cell. I heard it's a good cell." And I said, "Well, not so fast, buddy." I said, "We don't allow any pedophiles in our cell and no rats." I said, "What's your crime?" He goes, "Murder for hire."
And no
I don't even care about that.
Yeah.
But the other guy, I can't speak for the other guys.
Yeah, I was trying to be a part of the group, you know? But go on.
So he says, in murder for hire. I said, "I don't think I like that any better than the pedophiles or the rats. What were the circumstances?" And he said, "I owed the mob a lot of money, $100,000 in gambling. I couldn't pay it. So I took out a life insurance policy on my business partner and I hired a hitman to kill him. And the hitman got caught." I said, "Let me think about it." Well, think about it. I went straight to the law library and I looked up his case. And that wasn't it at all. It was true. He owed the mob $100,000. He took out